Kristen, I think that you have some things that you want to practice a little bit more.
Yes, my pie making skills, well, making the homemade dough, have gotten a little rusty. I've gotten in a bad habit of buying that refrigerated pie crust, but you know, it's quick and easy, but it doesn't have the same taste as when you make it from scratch, does it?
No, I don't think it does. And a lot of times people don't quite get why it tastes so much better. It's because you got a homemade pie crust.
Exactly.
So, first thing, you have to have a good flour. And the best thing is White Lily all-purpose flour for a pie crust.
Which there's really no other flour like it on the market, is there?
That's right. It's 100% soft wheat, so it really is the perfect flour to make flaky tender pastry. So the first thing I like to do is dump out some flour when I'm going to be doing some baking. Is dump it out into a bowl. So what I do is just fluff it with a wire whisk, and you aerate it so that it's not all packed down together. So then just spoon it lightly. Don't mush it down in there. But then I usually just kind of tap it. So let's put some fluffy White Lily flour in our bowl.
1.5 cups of flour.
And we need a little bit of salt.
And that's really just to bring the flavor out, right?
It is. The other thing that's really important is good shortening. It's really good for it to be as cold as it can be. I mean, just put it in the freezer. And this is sort of the vital step, I think. Make sure that you've got it where these little pieces of shortening, just about like that, so that you've got some kind of bigger chunk.
So it's nicely distributed, but you still have those pieces.
Right. Now, this White Lily recipe, it suggests, rather than just sprinkling the water on top of it all the way, is to sprinkle it in sections. So I kind of start on one side of the bowl and sprinkle water on it and kind of work it in.
Work that in and then gradually move over?
Yeah, because if you sprinkle it all over the top,
you have a wet top and a dry bottom, and it's hard to get them to come together.
It is.
So you end up adding probably too much water because you're trying to get that dry part wet. But this, if you do it gradually, you'll get a better sense for just when you have enough.
Exactly.
The right amount.
It should feel moist, but not wet and not real sticky. So at this point, I think the real trick is to form it into a really smooth ball.
Using your hands.
Just
reach in there and grab it.
And don't leave cracks in it, because as you roll out dough, you know, it's just...
Those little cracks turn into big cracks, don't they?
And it ends up with this sheet of dough that's just, you just want it to be perfectly round, but it doesn't do it if you've got those cracks in it.
So you just kind of want to shape it and make sure there are no cracks.
Right. And so at this point, we'll just wrap it in some plastic wrap and put it in the refrigerator and let it sit for 30 minutes, or you can
or a day or two, right?
If you want to. So at this point, though, this is what you're going to have to roll out when you get to the roll out point. So we'll just start rolling, and if you turn it about a quarter of a turn, it keeps it round. You can just wrap this around the rolling pin and then try to put it on here. I think you just let it overhang.
So you're going to tuck a little bit under.
Yeah. Do you have a fluting technique that you use around the edge?
Well, if I'm really in a hurry, I use a fork.
Well, that works. And I actually think it sort of looks kind of homey.
Yeah.
Because I've seen that a lot.
And it's super easy, and it looks good.
Yeah. When it really gets right down to it, it just takes a little practice, doesn't it?
It does.
Well, I hope that you will just make a ton of pies for Christmas.
I will.
And everybody will.
Lots of pie.
Everybody will be so happy.
They will be. Thank you so much for these wonderful tips.
Well, thank you.
Thank you, Linda.
That was fun.
It was fun.